Thank everyone who's going to watch this. This is an abbreviated version because of the smaller audience size. It's an abbreviated candidate forum, so we're going to have introductions from the candidates and then a question so that you can tell who might, among these 4 candidates, might deserve your vote. I also want to remind folks that the views expressed here are not necessarily the views of the Center for Civic Engagement or Elgin Community College, because we are a nonpartisan 501c3 organization. And thank you all for tuning in and for your participation in the primary forum. So without further ado, I'm going to turn over the microphone to Daniel Gidland, who is one of our civic leaders.
Is the question already? Not opening statements?
Yeah.
Is this any question? Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Ake, AKE. I was born in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, back in 1961. I came from 2 parents. My father's side is 3rd or 4th generation German, and on my mom's side is 2 or 3 generations Polish. And I am half German, half Polish. I married a beautiful Ukrainian woman 2 years ago, Rose. Grew up in Altoona. Was born in actually Johnstown. Johnstown is a flood city. Back in there was 2,000 people died in the Great Johnstown flood of 1889. Moved to Altoona. Grew up in Altoona. Went to Penn State. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay, computer. Oh, sorry. Graduated from Altoona High. Went to United States Army in Hawaii. Was a military policeman for 3 years. After I finished my military police, I came back to Altoona. Went to Penn State for 6 years. Got my CPA in 1988. I don't know why I said it's just a difficult time. I don't know what it is. Anyway, came here to Chicago in 2000. I've been with I just don't know what's going on with me today. I apologize. I am the best candidate because I am a certified public accountant, and the person that's going to be in Congress does laws about taxation and revenue raising and taxation. I'm sorry, I'm just not having a difficult time right now. I apologize. I'm going to have to. Jonathan, I'm sorry. Please go. Please go on.
So good afternoon, my name is Jennifer Davis, and I'm grateful for being here today. To give you a little background on me, my husband Dan and I have been married for 33 years, and we raised our 10 kids right here in the district. While we were doing that, we were building a global software company where we created hundreds of jobs right here in the community. I was 17 years old, so it was before I could even vote. It was before I could rent a car or even buy a glass of wine for a client. Tech wasn't an industry, that certainly wasn't a college degree. I'm here today because families in the 8th District need a strong voice in Washington, D.C., one that puts people over party, puts results over rhetoric, and the American dream over government overreach. I'm a complete political outsider. I'm the only candidate on the ballot who's never run for public office before. And I'm running to win using data-driven business strategies to stop career politicians prioritizing power and special interests over everyday families. As a mom, a businesswoman, and a community servant, I know what this district needs because it's what I need. As your congresswoman, I will put what matters most ahead of special interests. I will be fixated on cutting taxes to create real local jobs, restore fiscal sanity, protect parental rights, support entrepreneurs, fix our broken immigration system, and lead the technology decisions that will shape our future relating to AI, blockchain, and cryptocurrency. Our state's best export over the last decade has been our children, and I know this firsthand because 5 of my 10 children have moved out of state for opportunities. This mom is going to Washington, D.C. to change that for each one of you. We shouldn't have to go to O'Hare to see our kids and our families. Tuesday, March 17th is Election Day. The Republican primary will decide who represents your values best in this open seat. If you're a Republican, I ask you to please show up. If you're not, I ask yourself if you are better off today than you were 14 years ago, the last time you had Republican representation in this seat. We have broke families, infrastructure, healthcare, education, and our government's broke. You have the ability to fix that at the ballot box. Every vote counts in a competitive primary, and everyone who shares your vision needs to show up and participate. Everything that I've done in my life is hard, and this will be no different. Raising a large family, our American dream happened because America was a land of opportunity and hope. Now, government needs to get out of the way of your American dream, and I can help make that happen. Together, we can make the 8th District a leader in making Illinois great again. Strong families create a strong community, strong communities create a strong state, and a strong state creates a strong nation, not the opposite. Together, let's put results-focused, family-first leadership into Congress. Please vote Jennifer Davis on March 17th. And I look forward to earning your vote and representing each one of you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Herb Habine. I'm a retired Chicago police officer. First of all, let me thank Elgin Community College for throwing this form. I'm a retired police officer in Chicago, city of Chicago. I was there 30 years. I've been married for 37. I have 2 sons, Nick and Pete, and 4 grandchildren. Congress is not working for you anymore. Congress has forgotten about the people. They work for us. They are just the agents. They've quit working for you. They can't even pass a law or a funding to get Homeland Security because the other side doesn't want you to be able to show an ID to vote. You go to get on a plane, you gotta show an ID. Go to the bank, I wish you didn't have to show an ID at the bank. It'd be fun. But you don't have to show an ID to vote, which is your future, and they're telling you, well, we're not gonna let you have your future. My goal is definitely go back to 1 day of voting. No more than 6 weeks before and 2 weeks after. That's my one goal. My next goal is we have to get out of the UN. The United Nations is destroying this country. It's a communist-run organization. And they're destroying our children's future. Our Congress is letting them do everything, instead of our Congress standing up for the people and telling them enough is enough. They're not doing it. It is time someone gets in this Congress and lets the people know that I'm there for you, not for them. They want to make careers out of it. They lie to you. Look what they've done to our military. 17 guys a day are killing themselves. Yet, they get no help. Where did all our money and funding go? Billions. Where did it go? I don't know. How do you know? Police officers, 186. Well, that's about 7,000 military guys a year that kill themselves. 186 police officers kill themselves every year because of getting no help. Where's all the money going? Think about Minnesota and you'll know. That's where it's gone. What about our children? Our children, how they're being taught? They're not. In the city of Chicago, they can't even read or write, let alone do arithmetic. They want more and more money from your tax dollar to teach less and less. well, I don't know how you can tell a boy can be a girl can be a boy, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, I know there's 3 sexes, there's female, ladies first, male, and now I'll go on to the next subject, because there's only 2. There's no more than 2. Also, I'm sorry, parents should have control of their children, not the government. The government has to get out of family life. They're there for one purpose, and that's to protect you and the nation from foreign and domestic. Not anything else. They're supposed to keep you from those enemies. And they're not. The last administration let 20 million on, or 11 million, 20 million, I don't know. We don't know what came in. Your safety is now been jeopardized. That has to end. And yes, we need to close those borders. Try some other countries where you try to get in illegally. This doesn't go well for you. American jobs will go to Americans first. People that came here legally will get jobs first. We cannot get jobs with people that are here illegal. It's not right. People that want to come here legally can't. My parents came here back in 1954. Before they could come here, they had to go for a year. They didn't run in. They didn't sneak over the border. They came in legally. And that's how it's got to be. They broke the law. I mean, if a guy breaks into your house, burglarizing, you want the police to come, get them out, arrest them? Do you want to leave them? That's exactly what they did. They broke into your house, the United States of America. That is it. And the corruption in Washington is just out of control. You can't tell me they didn't know about these children, because I knew about what's happening to children back in 2014. Are you trying to tell me that Congress did not know what they were doing to our children? They're out of state. So we have to protect our children. So my goal is go to Washington, work for you, and make sure that we keep our country safe from all foreign and domestic enemies. That is my goal. And my goal will be a long, hard one, but I will be there for you. So thank you for your time. And my slogan is, send a cop to Congress. Thank you.
Very nice. Last but not least, my name is Mark Rice, and I was actually your nominee just in this last election. I was running against Raja Krishnamurthy, which is the 8th U.S. Congressional District, which now is an open We've had a bunch of these, so we've gotten to know each other. And the funny thing is, we're all Republicans and we're conservative, and we agree on a lot more than we disagree with. We do disagree, and we are different people. And so probably in a debate like this, we'll talk about our disagreements, but generally speaking, I think I could say that with my background, similar to these guys' background, I'm an entrepreneur, a several generations, I think 5th generation entrepreneur, built my own business. I've got 4 kids, a wife. I've got a business with a couple hundred employees. All 4 of my kids actually work there, as well as my wife. They've all stayed in Illinois. And that's a big thing for me, is staying in Illinois, because we lead the nation in out-migration. And we do that because a lot of what has already been said with regards to policy. We have the most beautiful state with the greatest natural resources, with the clean water and the great farms and the architecture of Chicago and the history. But the leadership of Illinois is so Democrat, so one-sided, so left-leaning, that is forcing people to leave. Like Jennifer is fond of saying, she talks about our biggest export is our children. And I've been fortunate that my kids stayed, but a lot of our kids are leaving, and there just isn't an opportunity here. And companies like Citadel and McDonald's maybe now, and even the Chicago Bears, our beloved Bears, and Caterpillar, and you can go on and on, these companies are leaving Illinois, along with the jobs, and along with our future, along with our kids. So it's very disappointing to see that, and I have the means to just leave and go back to Texas, where I'm from, or Florida, like so many people are doing, or any of these red states. But rather than do that, I want to stay here, and I want to fight, and I want to bring Illinois back to where it belongs, which is making Illinois great again. And we can do that very simply by changing the leadership. We're running to represent you in the U.S. Congress, and there are 17 seats in the U.S. Congress for Illinois. It's terribly gerrymandered, but the state is broken up into 17 weird-looking shapes. And currently, 3 of those are Republican, and they're all downstate. Or just so many things where bigger government and the highest taxes in the whole country were 51st out of 51 states and the District of Columbia, and the highest taxes, and it's forcing people to leave. And because we're so heavily Democrat, 14 out of 17, that is 18 is 82% Democrat, only 18% Republican. And what's wrong with that? We voted 45% for Trump as a state, but we're only 18% Republican. Something's very, very wrong with that. And part of it is, as a group, as Republicans, we don't really have a party right now. We have a party, but it's become a little bit of a joke because they've been losing and losing and losing. They've sort of forgotten how to win. So we don't have a lot of support. And because of that, it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy that we keep losing elections, especially in Cook County and the collar counties around Cook County. So here I am, a guy that's built businesses, that's challenged the status quo, and I've been doing that. And sometimes I make enemies from doing that because I speak the truth. And the truth sometimes is the uncomfortable truth. And people don't want to hear it, but they need to hear it. It's like medicine. We need to hear what we need to do to make these changes so that Illinois can become the greatest state all over again. And we can do it, but we need truth tellers. We need people who are in it not for themselves, not to insider trade, not to have unlimited terms. So I'm for term limits. I'm for getting rid of insider trading. I'm for all kinds of things to make sure that these people in government, I think we all kind of share this idea, that people that lead us, they're in it for themselves rather than in it for us. So here I am, a guy closer to the end of my life. In the beginning of my life, I'm in a position where I can give back, and that's what I want to do, and I want to take the fight for us to Washington and bring back jobs and bring back opportunity and bring back the American dream and do everything we can to turn this thing around. Now, the last thing I will say is, it's not spoken about enough, is one of the things that's probably the most important, if you think about it, is let's say we all agree on lowering taxes, smaller government, the basics. We all agree on that. But if we don't win, it doesn't matter. What's the difference? We can come to venues like this and talk and talk and talk, and then we lose like we've lost over and over and over. That's the definition. But the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So here I am. I'm a second-time candidate. I ran for the first time. I didn't like politicians. I still don't like politicians. I'm a little outsider, but I ran. Roger, or as a Republican more than anybody in 20 years. Votes in my first election. Name ID. So some people, if they voted Republican, they voted for me. Elect in the primary, the person that can take it to our enemy and win and take back this seat and turn it red. And I would submit to you for all the reasons of who I am and what I'm about, that's nice. But for the fact that I have the name ID, I have the experience, I'm working with all the right people, they're not following the same plan of the Illinois GOP, which some of my opponents here are doing that. They're doing the same old thing over and over. We know what that result will be. I'm doing things differently. I'm working with the Trump team out of Washington and others to help them. And I'm working with the group here, right here in our district, to try to take this thing back. And with the name ID of 130,000 votes, because this is a midterm, not a presidential election, we're going to have lower voter turnout. And we know approximately we're going to need to get about 100,000 votes in order to win this district. I got 130,000 votes just about a year and a half ago. I don't need 130,000 votes. So how many Democrats do I need to switch over? 0. I'd love for them to. I'll talk to them. That's fine. But the truth is, with a path to victory, just by doing what we did before, now that it's open seat, and we can actually win this thing. And so I'm trying to get that message out there. We got 2 more days. I can use your support. And again, thank you for having me. It's what I would like to do is bring energy costs down for everybody, for businesses, for residential customers, and there's a lot of ways to do that, and I do that every day anyway in my business, but it's also been politicized, and it's been politicized by people that don't have the first clue about how energy works. And because of that, the Democrats that control the state, the Democrats have the supermajority in the House in Springfield, they have the supermajority in the Senate in Springfield, and of course they control the governor's mansion, and of course the city is completely controlled by Democrats. Every single position from mayor on down, all Democrat controlled. So they're very into big government and government-run energy rather than competition. But Illinois is a deregulated state, and because of that, we have the opportunity to drive prices down. And in fact, before we had so much Democrat control, Illinois was exporting energy. So we were making more energy than we even needed, and we were selling it to surrounding states. Now we have the opposite. We're importing energy, and we're bringing energy in from Indiana. How does that happen? It happens because they're corrupt people and they're bought and paid for by lobbyists and big organizations that completely control them like puppets, and they're on a string. I am no puppet. I'm a self-made entrepreneur. I started with nothing. I built a very large business. What I like to do is the same thing by using capitalism and entrepreneurship to drive down costs for everyday Illinoisans, to bring the cost down of everything, including homes, so that our kids can stay here because they can afford to buy a home. When you don't own a home and you don't own real estate, for example, and you live in a place, you're going to treat it like you don't own it. You're going to treat it like you rent it. You rent a car, you're not going to take great care of a rental car. You're not going to go wash it and bathe it and shine it up. You're going to not take great care of it, not feel a sense of ownership. I want to make it so that everybody can move to Illinois because not only are jobs here, but they can afford to live here. And so the gap between affordability and the opportunity to make a good living is a nice gap that people can come here like they used to make money and just save money for their families and raise their families right here in Illinois. So that's the plan. That's what I bring to the table to do it. It's a big issue, and I thank you for asking me.
So jobs. Well, the first thing we have to do is get government out of the way. They are in the way of every person that wants to try a new job. There are regulations, there are rules. They can control what you do or you're not supposed to. Congress is not about jobs. Congress, if we let them make jobs, your taxes are going to go up. We need less government and more entrepreneurs. The young people must come out, but they need help, and that help would be getting government out of your way. So you can do and take that chance of having your own business someday. Lobbyists, as you mentioned, lobbyists control the Congress. We must get them out. So I will go to Washington, will not accept lobbyists. I will help the young people in any way it's possible to start a business and bring it to America, and no more people that are not citizens of America allowed to be here and work until they become citizens. So there's going to be many different things we're going to have to try to do to get jobs here. There's going to be bad times and good times, but you can always do something in both times. So I will do my best in Washington to bring the jobs back to the people, but not through Congress making them. Thank you.
Government cannot spend its way with your money into prosperity, and redistribution of wealth never works. And so in Congress, my goal is to work within Congress to reduce government. We have to reduce government. We have to stop the fiscal insanity. Every single child right now is being burdened with $500,000 of debt from the spending that our generation has created. So we are solving our problems and creating problems for the next generation. And that's something we simply cannot do. Energy is a really important part of that story, and we have to be able to unleash American energy, just like we have to be able to unleash American business and small businesses. In this district, 1 in every 3.7 households has some sort of entrepreneur, mompreneur, solopreneur. These are the people, these are the bedrock of our communities, these are the bedrock of our country, and the government has to get out of the way in order to support them. When I get to Congress, the 3 committees that I would look to be a part of would be the House Committee on Energy and Commerce, specifically as it relates to everything with AI and data centers. AI and data centers are the way of the future. It is the new arms race from the 80s brought forward. We have to be critical thinking about it, and we have to have people in Congress who understand that. I personally have been using AI for decades, and that expertise is really important because special interest groups right now are taking over our Congress because our congressional members aren't experts in AI, they aren't experts in blockchain, they aren't experts in crypto. And so that leaves really big opportunities for special interest groups to buy their votes and steal your voice. And so that's something that's really important to me. The second committee that is really the bedrock of where I sit is the House Committee on Small Business. During our legacy owning our business, so we wrote software for service contractors. So these were blue collar tradesmen who were learning how to use tablets and technology to create first generation wealth instead of just the wrenches and tools in their trucks. And that time, running our business, we had over 1,000 of our customers create first generation wealth. So I've sat sidecar over and over again and watched what the recipe is for success. And that recipe for success is about getting government out of the way and creating funding mechanisms for these businesses to be able to support themselves and grow. The third, of course, is the House Ways and Means Committee. So it's the primary committee that handles tax policy, trade, and economic security. And why that's so important to me is I wrote a white paper on something called the digital dome. So it was mentioned earlier that our government's responsibility is to protect us. The federal government has two responsibilities. The first is to protect us, and they do a fine job of that. From sea to shining sea, we have the strongest and best military in the entire world. Its job is also to create monetary systems and processes for our government, for its citizens. However, the area that every single suburban mom knows that is being invaded right now is our handheld devices. Our kids' bedrooms are being invaded day in and day out. Our data is being stolen, and we are being stolen. We are being invaded through our devices. And so I wrote a paper called The Digital Dome, and the Digital Dome is the answer to, or the other side to the Golden Dome. So when you think about being able to protect us, the government and the military, and my grandson's in the Navy, so I'm very pro-military, but their job is to protect us physically, and the Digital Dome would protect us digitally. And so that's really what I want to accomplish when I get to Congress, and it's how I can see us creating a secure nation and create the growth in the economy locally that we desperately need. And then finally, my goal is to work with every single community, the 30 or so communities that are part of this district. Each one of those mayors, we need to be working with the local city officials because the city officials are closest to the people. And the people are the ones that we know what they need. And so my job would be to work with every individual community to make sure that we are focused on the people that reside there and building businesses in partnership with the local communities. Thank you very much.
I wish to apologize before, I had just to let you know, last June, I walked into the emergency room with blood sugar of 606, and I thought I was going to die. That was in the emergency room for a week. Back in December, I was in surgery, and they removed my whole pancreas, my whole spleen, my whole gallbladder, and part of my intestine, and I had a low blood sugar episode, the very thing, and I apologize about that because I was just going off, so I got some energy, so I'm good now. I apologize about that. Why am I the best candidate? I am a CPA attorney. I'm not an attorney, I'm a CPA, I'm a veteran. And I come from Pennsylvania. I live in Elk Grove Village. I am the best candidate because what does Congress do? Congress brings in revenue and Congress spends revenue. It's all about the dollars. It's all about money. Where are we going to get the money from the people and where are we going to spend the money? Congress is the purse strings of America. And what better person to be your representative in Congress for the purse strings of America than a CPA? I know finance. I've been in finance my whole life. When I was 16, I sat at my kitchen table with my dad doing tax returns. And so I know tax law. Tax law back in 1970s was very small. Tax law today is huge. The amount of tax law we have is voluminous. To read it, understand it, and how to apply it to the individual people takes skill. I don't think these other candidates have the skill that I have. Let's look at the thing. We have Mr. Energy, which I like Mark, but he is Mr. Energy. He employs people. but the government should not be employing people. We live in a private society where life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you're supposed to go out and make your own life. You're supposed to be depending upon the government to provide housing for you or food for you. It's your own individual freedom in the United States of America. The government provides broad services, but not for you. You're not supposed to provide for you. You're supposed to provide for yourself. And we got Mr. Herb, and it's wonderful that Herb's running. I applaud him very much for running, but he is the policeman from the south side of Chicago. He doesn't live in this district. Then we have the political insider, who is Jen Davis. She comes from Washington, D.C. with $500,000. She lives in her own compound up in Huntley, sprawling many acres. She's got everything here. She's had to leave for years. She's got her whole bowling alley. She's got paintings up on the walls. She's got tons of stuff. She doesn't need this. She's trying to buy the seat. Same thing. She's trying to buy the seat. And I am not trying to buy the seat. I want to represent the people. I want to look. People in this district, this 8th Congressional District, it's amazing that the Democrats have drawn this district that encompasses Cook, King, and DuPage. There is no kingdom. We got lots of little kingdoms here. We got the kingdom of Illinois. Then you have the kingdom of Cook County. Then you have the kingdom of Kane County. And you got the kingdom of DuPage County. And within all those, you have little kingdoms. You have the kingdom of Schaumburg, the kingdom of Palatine. All these little kingdoms with all the little kings. 8th Congressional District encompasses all those things. There's no more little kingdom. This is the taxpayers. The taxpayers have to decide who they want to represent in Congress, one of these wonderful candidates or a Democrat. And I implore you to vote for me. I'm a CPA, I'm a veteran, and I am the best candidate to represent you in Congress, in Washington. And thank you very much. Appreciate your vote. And we live the best in the United States of America. You're talking about that wages. Even though our wages are going up, we live in the best world, best country in the whole world. There's no place. I've been to so many different countries. I've been to Indonesia. I've been all over the world. We live in the best country in the whole universe. There's nothing better than the United States of America. We are so blessed to be in America and the state of Illinois. And I appreciate if you vote for me, Kevin Ake.
Thank you for your responses. Now I'm going to turn it back to Professor Harris.
Okay, I just want to thank all of the candidates for being here for this abbreviated forum. I thank you for your time, thank you for your responses. I hope that the people watching this video will, are able to take this information to help them decide, if they decide to vote in the Republican primary, which of these candidates might deserve your vote. So this concludes the forum, and thanks again to all 4 candidates for being here at Elgin Community College.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry.